In this tutorial, I'll again talk about recursion, but this time I'll talk about an example that is not slightly connected to numbers, but to characters. This function is called triangle stars, and what it does is printing a triangle formed from these signs into the log. If we execute it, we'll get something like this. And this is the actual code that is quite short, but it still needs some explanation. First of all, in contrast to other codes that I've mentioned in my previous videos, this function gets two arguments. First one is height and second one is cons. The height is responsible for the amount of rows for the triangle. As we know, we are starting to build it row by row. And height is responsible also for the amount of stars in each row. And the cons is responsible for the space that are used for the triangle not to be from only the one side, but to be nested. One more thing that is new is that cons has a default value of 0. This is used for our next steps because in the bottom row we don't have any spaces and we have to really start with cons. And I've given this value to cons in the first definition so that I'm free not to give it later if I don't want to. This is the default value. So this is the stop point, which we already know, and if the height equals to 0, the function returns an empty string, which means that if the height already gained 0 value, the function will return nothing, not to mess up the whole triangle. And this is the main return part. And this first part is the recursive part. It again repeats the first function that I've already defined here. It says triangle stars height -1 and const +1. This is used for decreasing the height with 1 so that we are going one line up. And const +1. This means that we are adding a space for our construction for the next row. And we are continuing with our main adding part, which is the first one is the space, which is repeating cons times. This is a function that will repeat the given string or a number anytime you want, which is given in the argument. So now we are repeating space cons times and then concatenating, which means adding this sign repeated 2 times height -1 times. And in the end of every row, we are adding a new line for our triangle not to be placed in the same row. This is the sign for the new line, which is \n, and we are adding it to every line. So if we execute this one more time, we'll get this again. These are the spaces. These are the stars, and you actually see the new line here.